Namaste. This is the 23rd teaching class relating to the law of forgiveness. I am Timothy Doyle. I am a student of the Golden Ones. The Golden Ones are co-creator gods who are the spiritual administrators of the spiritual training school on earth here. All souls on earth are in training to become co-creator gods. Whether you're aware of this or not, this is the truth. There's several stages a soul goes through in this spiritual training school. Let's say the first level is the egotistical level, and then there's the spiritual man, and then there's the co-creator God stage. During the egotistical level, where the soul is in the ego self, is where most of the karma is created for the soul, and that's where the soul is learning about the laws of nature and the principles of harmony, balance, order, and unity through karma. When a soul steals from another, he does it for selfish reasons, and he's unaware of how his stealing is affecting the other person. When the other person or another person steals from this soul who just stole something, then he feels what it feels like to have something stolen from him. So the law of cause and effect basically is what you do to others will be done unto you. All right. So, but the law of forgiveness is here. Here's how the law of forgiveness is how it works. Whose sins you shall forgive, they are forgiven. Whose sins you shall retain, they are retained. Now, some religious organizations believe that certain people in their organizations has the right to forgive other people's sins, all right? The Catholic Church, priest, that you can go, you can commit a sin, you can kill somebody, and go and confess it. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I just killed my neighbor. I'll do 4 Our Fathers, and thank you for forgiving me. Well, I'm sorry, it doesn't work like that. The law is, whose sins you shall forgive, they are forgiven. What this means is, if I steal from someone, and then someone steals from me, the person who steals from me, I need to forgive that person. If I do not forgive the person that stole from me, then my sins from the first person that I stole from cannot be forgiven. So let's say, for example, Tom. I steal from Tom, and I really don't care how Tom feels. I just wanted what Tom had. And then the next life, Bob steals from me, and I get really pissed off at Bob for stealing something from me, and I hold a grudge against him. My sins for stealing from Tom in a previous life cannot be forgiven unless I forgive Bob, who stole in this life. Whose sins you shall forgive, they are forgiven. Your souls are forgiven. You're the only one that can forgive your sins. All right. If I never forgive Bob or Charlie or Dick or Harry, anybody else who steals from me, they're going to keep stealing from me. So until I learn that I have to go back and forgive them, so that my sins from my original cause and effect action is removed. All right. When I forgive the person who steals from me, then my sins for stealing from someone else will be removed. Whose sins you shall forgive, they are forgiven. Now, whose sins you shall retain, they are retained. So in other words, if I cannot forgive anyone for their transgressions against me, regardless of what it is, whether it's a car accident, whether it's being an abusive feeling, whether I was raped, whether I was run over by a car, whether I was hit by a meteor, whether I was hit by an airplane, regardless of what has happened, what is happening to me, if I can't forgive in that moment, then all I'm retaining all the sins I have committed previously. So basically, in this life, the universe will orchestrate life experiences for us. One aspect of our life experience is based on our karma debt. What do we need to pay back from a previous unhealthy action on our part? Now, sometimes we have life experiences that universal mind will delay until we're spiritually aware enough to accept that we've done this in a previous life and we can go to forgiveness. What comes to mind, and maybe I'll share this, is when Jesus was on the cross and they were nailing him to the cross, he yells out, "Father, why have you forsaken me?" Well, Father, God did not forsake Jesus. Universal law was just repaying Jesus his karma debt of what he created, and whether it was that life or a previous life. So regardless of how spiritual or holy or how good you are in this life, when something happens to you, you must go to forgiveness immediately. You can wait a couple of days, I think, until you ponder it over and know that no sense holding hard feelings and so forth, and go to forgiveness. Whose sins you shall forgive, then your sins are forgiven. Whose sins you shall retain, then you're retaining your own sins. The universe will not forgive you for your sins. This is a spiritual training school, and you have to learn by life experiences and paying your karma debt. Now, one aspect we said was universal mind will orchestrate life experiences based on our karma debt. Also, we get life experiences to teach us truth and knowledge, because as we're training to become co-creator God, we're learning truth and we're learning knowledge that we turn into wisdom to store into our light body. All right? So, that is basically the law of forgiveness. Whose sins you shall retain, forgive, they are forgiven. Whose sins you shall retain, those sins are retained. Let's see. Now, again, we mentioned there's 3 levels of training in this spiritual training school. The ego self, the spiritual man self, and the co-creator God self. So regardless of where you are and what level of training you're in, we're all in the same classroom, spiritual training classroom. So we have to be compassionate to all our classmates, regardless of who they are, how they are expressing their abilities and talents, whether they're corrupt or not. We don't want to, just want to have compassion to everyone, all right? Compassion, love everyone. You don't have to love the personality. Just love the soul and understand what the soul is going through. Whatever someone's doing that you believe is wrong, that just means that you've learned that lesson. So you've gone through it, all right? So everybody here on Earth, to come to Earth, you had to be the elite from your star system. You had to be the top of the top to come here. You just can't come to Earth and say, I want to train to become a co-creator God. No. You have to be faithfully dedicated your whole entire being in service to God. All right? That's one of the qualifications. When you get here, you forget all that. All right? You'll grow into that the longer you're here, and you come to the realization that all your talents, knowledge, wisdom come from God. All right? Come from God in every moment. Your life experiences come from God in every moment. So with that being said, namaste. You all have a great day. Much love, much peace, much harmony, balance, and order and unity to all my classmates. Namaste. Bye-bye. See all the teachings and videos of the Golden Ones at www.thepathtowoneness.com. Also, see the teachings on the Golden Age, where souls can learn how to overcome the birth, death, and rebirth cycle. Also, see all the videos of the Golden Ones on the YouTube channel, Timothy Doyle, The Golden Ones. And visit us on Facebook and link it at The Path to Oneness.